So as we're starting a new adventure of trying to gear up the boomkin without actually getting anybody that I know to help, which has been kind of strange. I've had some pretty
And
wild keys
now
already,
you
so
learn the
figured I'd start
true
recording
lesson
them.
of the
As you can see,
void.
we're about to start this one.
So here we are. High speed.
So a couple things here. We
Or is it just
pulled, they
Ivek
did a
and
5-second timer and then put the key in
He's swayed from the
immediately.
Hall of Awakening into the
And then the
Stonevault.
tank pulled
He's probably
the whole
like
first
a
hallway,
fragment.
which made it two pretty wild, but we lusted and actually did okay at it.
AOE, Howling Fear. Pulverizing Pounce. Void Infection. Pulverizing Pounce. Void Infection.
Divine Shield.
Pulverize.
So nothing really happens in the next couple pulls. So and here we are on the boss. It's actually a pretty smooth and nothing really to see on it, but so we do a double pull right after the first boss, and
Looks like the main door
it kind of
is
is where things in the keys
Either
start
one
to
of these
go a
parts
little
should lead us to an
crazy.
access console.
We start kiting, tank dies, you know, normal stuff that happens
AOE.
in these
Void
keys.
Infection.
But everything works out okay on this pull.
Void Infection.
Last stand, spell reflection. Divine Shield.
Affix.
Countered.
I know I said everything was going okay, but the tank definitely died
Void
twice.
infection.
We almost had a full wipe, but
Three,
it didn't wipe. But this
two,
is where the tank
1.
started to let us know that we need to get better before we try to do any other higher keys, which is always fun to hear from these keys.
Void Infection. AOE.
So not a lot happens on the next couple pulls. We just go all the way into the boss pretty cleanly. A little bit of the shaman trying to tell the mage that he needs to do stuff now, and I thought chat was going to get a little spicier, so I ended up moving my cover up, but that's kind of all it turned out to be. So we ended up pulling the second boss to the dungeon, and not really much happens. It's pretty clean. We had a couple low health scares, but nothing too wild. Everybody kind of knew what they were doing, so it went pretty smoothly. So after killing that second boss, we end up going through and we pull quite a large group, and it gets a little shaky. And I thought it was going to get a little wild and just kind of fell apart a little bit.
Dodge. Cannon. Pulverizing Pounce. Pulverizing Pounce. Targeted.
So as you can tell, the warrior died, the paladin died. I tried to start the kite, and then I ended up dying, but I kept the mobs long enough. I ended up not releasing here forever because my wife decided that it was a good time to give me a call, and I guess I should have answered it, so I did. So that's kind of what took me so long to release at this point. So I finally release and I start heading back. As you can see, I'm already starting to get kind of broken gear from the amount of deaths in here. But when I get back, there's 2 casters just free casting in the back, and I guess
Counter.
nobody decided to interrupt those, so they were doing a nice bit of damage just back there.
Affix. Pulverizing pounce.
Embrace who you
Counter.
truly
Pulverizing
are.
pounce. Restoring metals.
Counter.
Restoring
Counter.
metals.
Counter.
As you can see, the next couple pulls go kind of smooth. There's not really any much to do about it. It looks like everybody kind of just did what they're supposed to, and nothing crazy. So we're about to start the third boss in here, and it's kind of where it's like one of the problems of this fight, of this dungeon, for a lot of pug groups. People just don't understand it, and it's getting better now
Molten
that
metal.
later in the season. But you can see
Counter.
we had a few issues, and it ended up being a kind of a crazy
Shield wall.
crazy
Dodge
ending.
cannon.
So myself, being the pro gamer here,
Disrupt song.
supposed to interrupt the caster mob when he jumps over to the side. But as you can see, I definitely forgot to
Molten
target him and threw a solar beam right on top of the robot.
Affix.
So it,
To the
yep,
Dodge
it happens to
cannon.
all of us.
Exhaust vent.
Countermeasures on!
Molten
3,
metal.
2,
Counter.
1.
Blazing
Healing
crescendo.
tide.
AoE.
Molten metal. Exhaust vent.
Countermeasures on!
Dodge.
Lava cannon.
So you're supposed to kill both these bosses at roughly the same time, because the
Scrap
one that
saw.
stays alive ends up doing a damaging and a pulsing that does damage to the whole group. And it is very,
Spell
very
reflection.
painful. As you can see, most of our group ends up dying here. The tank ends up staying alive and killing the final by a little bit of the boss.
Shield wall.
And the DPS
Less than scrap.
start talking to him, and it
Less
gets,
than.
gets him a little excited. At this point, I run out of the dungeon to repair just because I'm all yellow, and the way it's been going, we'll probably have another death before getting to the last boss. Of course, as I'm running back, the mobs target me with the charge, so they don't go into the wall where everybody else is standing. So it decides to go across the middle of the room. I mean, nothing big, just a little bit of a loss. Next pull, nothing really kind of happens. It just a normal pull. So it looking good, like we might finish this in time.
Open
Affix.
your mind. Embrace who you
As you can see here, we
CC.
kind of forgot to kill the totems,
First
and
CC.
tank went down.
Counter.
First totem.
And then they yelled at us about not killing
Restoring
totems.
metals.
Counter.
So that's always fun.
Counter.
And when the tank died, obviously the first melee DPS is going to die. So he falls down too. We end up killing the pack with just those 2 deaths.
CC.
So here, the right before we go into the last boss, the shaman's kind of giving us instructions on what to do, which is kind of good to see in some of these low keys. But if you had no clue what was going on, you wouldn't have a clue what he was talking about as far as the portals and dispos go. But from the gather of the rest of the key, we all kind of knew what was going on, anyways.
CC. Earth First Totem.
Geomon.
CC. Earth First Totem. Smash Rock. Granite Eruption.
Counter.
So these next two packs, we do a much better job with killing the totems and don't really have any deaths from them as we go into the last boss.
3,
So apparently the
2, 1.
instructions work to focus the totems.
No. Smash Rock. Granite Eruption.
Counter.
CC. Earth First Totem. Earth First Totem. 3. No. Smash Rock. Granite Eruption.
Counter.
3, 2, 1. No. Smash Rock. Granite Eruption.
So we're pulling the last boss now. Nothing really happens on the boss. It seems pretty clear. Right at the beginning, I almost get hit with the funnel just because I wasn't paying much attention. But other than that, the key kind of just goes successful in the time it. No real problems.
Healing Tide. Left stand.
Clear. Drop entropy Dodge.
Apparently, I missed the rep paladin almost going down there. He didn't
Divine
go
Shield.
down, but he definitely hit his divine shield after he was already back healthy. So a little late,
Clear.
but he lived.
Drop reckoning. Dodge. Vital point.
That was the end of the key. Nothing too crazy. We had a few deaths and stuff, and no one seemed like they got super mad or anything. So that was kind of a neat switch from running a bunch of these here lately on this character. But yeah, this is my first attempt at reviewing. I'm doing a little bit of editing. We'll see how it goes. I probably get better as we do it, but it's not too bad for the first time, I don't think.